All right, so we're going to start with a 6-minute warm-up. We want to gradually increase the intensity either before the warm-up or right after. I suggest you move all the joints in your body. So, roll your head a little bit, move your arms, move your hands, do a little standing on your toes, and you're good to go with the next exercise.
Awesome.
Let's get to it.
Let's do it.
All right, so Kirby, we're going to warm up a little bit more. We're going to do the Charleston, and that's going to warm up our hips a little bit more. So we're going to do like this. So moving our hips and our hands. And it's a little bit of a coordination move if you move your hands in front one time and back the next time. So when we're skiing, we're using movements in our upper body and lower body that are a little different. So we're practicing that. And then we're good to go on the hips.
Awesome. Activating those hips.
Yeah. Okay, so now we're going to continue with our warm-up, and now we're going to warm up our balance. Skiing is about balance. Almost all the time when you're skiing, you're on one foot. So we're going to stand on one foot, and here in phase one, we're going to stand on one foot for about 30 seconds. We're going to put our hands in a good ski position. One of the ways you can tell a good skier from a bad skier is where they put their hands. So we're going to practice keeping our hands in the right position while we're balancing.
Love it. Balance is key in skiing, it seems like.
Absolutely. Okay, so now we're going to do some side bends with resistance. We do this because in skiing, you're in this position as you turn, and you need a little bit of strength and coordination over here, and you just stretch over there. We're going to do this on a foam pad so that we practice a little bit of feeling in our feet while we're doing something else with our upper body. In skiing, you're always doing one thing with your lower body and another thing with your upper body. So it's a pretty simple movement, but it's use some resistance here. You could use a dumbbell if you want.
And this is really just helping us connect kind of the lower and the upper half of the body as well.
That's exactly right.
Awesome.
Good. So now we're going to work on balance some more, and we're going to work on lower and upper body separation. So the way we're going to do that is we're going to stand on one foot, and then we're going to rotate our hip over our leg. So it's just the hip that's moving over the leg, and this is like the upper and lower body separation when you're skiing. It's part of it. So we go back and forth. All right, so Kirby, now we're going to do some push-ups. Of course, everyone knows how to do push-ups. We're going to do them on a foam pad just to have a little bit of instability, to train our brains to work with some instability and to work some stabilizer muscles a little bit. And this relates to skiing because when you're pulling to get up to the ski lift, you're going to use some upper body strength. So we're going to do push-ups on the foam pad, pretty straightforward. Done. All right, so now we're going to do rowing. We're going to stand on a foam pad again. It's going to look like this.
And how does this relate to skiing, Steve?
Yeah, so when you're pulling, you're using some of these rowing muscles to push yourself along with your ski poles. We also want to keep our body in harmony. We want the front and the back muscles to be about the same strength. So we just did push-ups, now we do rowing to keep things in balance. We're on the foam pad here, and so we're getting a little bit of instability and we're feeling our feet. At the same time, we're moving our upper body.
Makes perfect sense. Can't wait to try it.
Yeah, there you go. All right, so now we're going to do split squats with our rear foot elevated. So the way we do it is like this. We put our rear foot up on here, get comfortable in the length, and then we're going to go down to about a 45-degree angle here. That's as far as you go down when you're skiing unless you're on the World Cup tour. So down to 45 degrees is good. Now we're working our strength and our balance and our endurance all at once on these quads so they don't burn when you're on the slopes. They're going to burn some now. This is the most important of exercise of all, and we're going to do 4 sets. So one set is reps on one leg, and then we'll switch and we'll do reps on the other leg.
So we're really getting into the strength building part of the program now.
That's right. This is the most important exercise we're going to do today. That's why we're going to do 4 sets of it.
And one more quick question. What size object would you recommend for people to do this on?
Good point. So this is about 18 inches tall. So a small stool, a box like this that's sturdy, an ottoman would work. A couch is a little too high. This is much more like what you feel when you ski. So 18 inches is a good height.
One of my favorite things about this program is how everything is so specific to skiing, so I love that.
Absolutely, which is tailored totally to skiing. And by the way, it also works your whole body. So you can do this all year round if you want, and then you're super ready for skiing.
Can't wait to try it. Can't wait to hit the slopes.
Yeah. All right, now we're going to do some leg extensions to work our core. And the variation here is we're going to hold this softball between our feet. And the reason we're going to do that is when you're skiing, you have to control where your leg is in space. And part of that is these inside muscles here that control where your leg goes. So when we lay down and put this between our feet, we're holding the ball here, and it takes some coordination of these inside muscles. Here's the way it looks. Now we're also going to work our core, and you can feel it in your quads a little bit too. So it looks like this. So we want a stable core while we're doing other things with our legs. So we're keeping our back flat on the floor.
I have a feeling this is a little harder than it looks too.
It probably is if you haven't done it before.
Let's give it a try.
All right. Now we're going to do a one-legged deadlift, and we're going to move our arms around a little bit. So we're working our balance again. We're challenging our balance because we're moving our upper body this way. And we're also going to move our hands a little bit. So we practice balancing, doing one thing with our legs and our balance, and another thing with our hands. So here's the way it looks. Stand on one foot, we go forward, you can do a touch motion. You can touch with the other hand, which challenges your balance in a little bit different way. We can kind of do some things like this. So we can have a little bit of fun with this and work on your balance and your coordination at the same time.
Looking forward to giving it a try.
Yeah, there we go. Okay, now we're going to do a one arm press overhead while we're standing on a foam pad. So it looks like this. Now we're just doing one arm at a time. So we're working our stabilizer muscles at the same time we're working our shoulder. That's because when we're skiing, we're also using our stabilizer muscles. Now we're working our shoulder because that's going to help us keep our hands in a good ski position while we're skiing. That's great for balance. Also looks good. If you have your hands down here, it doesn't help you with balance. Also doesn't look good.
When you look good, you feel good.
Absolutely. Now we're going to do curls, and we're doing curls, which everybody's probably done before. We're doing these because we just did overhead presses. So we want to keep our arm muscles in harmony. We're working the front of our arms because we just worked the back of our arms. Now, in terms of how this relates to skiing, the curls really don't. But you're on a foam pad, and it gives you a little bit of instability. And so I want you to think about being in perfect balance on this foam pad while you're doing the curls. Or if you want to make it a little more difficult, you can lean forward a little bit on your feet while you're doing some curls. You can go back a little bit.
So even though this one isn't super specific to skiing, we still want to create that harmony from top to bottom in the body.
That's right. That's right. Now we're going to work on our balance and on this inside muscle in our leg here. It's called the adductor. So when you're skiing and you're turning, your weight will be on your outside ski, and you'll want to bring that inside ski in frequently. So you have to use these muscles in here to do that. And you also have to balance. I have the band anchored over here in the door jamb. There's two bands looped together, so I can get over to here. So we're going to stand on one leg, and then we're going to squeeze together. So we're turning, we're bringing that inside ski in. Always hands in a good ski position. If you want to get fancy, go up like this. So now we're going to simulate edging with our feet. So the way that looks is we're going to line up our feet parallel, and then we're going to move our ankles back and forth as if we're making turns going down the slope. We're going to have our hands out in a good ski position. Now you can move just your ankles back and forth or just your hips. Either way, we're changing our edge angles, or we can move both at the same time like this.
It's all in the hips. It's all in the hips.
Well, it's a lot in the hips. It's a lot in the hips, but it starts from the feet, actually. So you want to feel your balance in your feet, and that's why we have the foam pad here, to give it a little bit of a balance challenge and to help you focus on your feet all the way up to your hips.
I love that. So we're really starting from the ground up and building up.
That's right. It's through the ground that you sense what's going on with your skis and the snow. So you want to feel your feet always.
I love it. Let's feel those happy feet.
Yeah. Okay, now we're going to do balance one more time. This will be the hardest balance exercise of the day. And we're going to balance on one foot on the foam pad here. So we're going to get our hands in a good ski position, and then we're going to balance on one foot. Now, if your ankle wobbles a little bit, that's okay. That's part of balancing. When you're skiing, you're typically on one ski most of the time. When you're turning, you're on your outside ski, and that's where you're balancing. So if you're turning to the right, you're balancing on this leg here on one foot mainly.
With all this balance work you got me doing today, Steve, I know I'm going to have so much fun on the slopes.
Absolutely. These exercises are kind of fun too. It's not so boring when you're having to work on balance at the same time.
I agree.
All right, now we're going to do some football leg curls. We're doing these because we're going to work our hamstrings a little more aggressively to keep them in harmony with the quads that we worked a lot on today. And the twist is, in addition to curling our legs up, we're also going to curl our feet up like this. And the reason we do that is when you're skiing, you tend to get in the back seat at the end of a turn, or the terrain may throw you a little bit and you get your weight too far back. And the way you get your feet and your weight back to the front where it belongs is you use your hamstrings and this motion with your feet. So we're going to practice doing that at the same time. Now when we're on the slopes, if we get in the back seat, we know, oh, it's just that football leg curl thing that I do. And it's a instantaneous thought. You don't have to think about it. It's already there. You've already practiced it.
So we're building a lot of this muscle memory. Is that what I'm hearing?
Exactly. We're building muscle memory to get out of the back seat and the front seat where you belong. Here's how it looks. Get our feet up on the ball, point our toes out, bring our toes in. Point out, bring our feet in. Toes out, feet up. Toes out, feet up. And we're also working our core a little bit here too, which is always a good thing.
Well, Steve, let's get into that front seat, baby.
Absolutely, it's where you belong.